Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we have a look at cryptocurrencies. We look at their general market cap, we look at their purposes, and we check to see if maybe it's worth investing into. So before we do anything else, little disclaimer, this is not to be considered as financial advice. It's only to be considered for educational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes. And if this is your first time here, consider liking and subscribing. So, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a decentralized cryptocurrency originally described in a 2008 white paper by a person or a group of people using the alias Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, most of you guys who've been in this cryptocurrency community would probably already have heard of Bitcoin. I don't really think there's anybody who gets into cryptocurrency who doesn't know what Bitcoin is. But Bitcoin is essentially the main foundational thing which we kind of look at when it comes to cryptocurrency. It was launched soon after, in January 2009. Now, the stats of the Bitcoin price only go back on CoinMarketCap to the 5th of February 2013. Sorry, no, the 2nd of June 2013. My bad, sorry. I'm used to reading the New Zealand calendar. So, as we can see, it went all the way from $100 to as high as, so it went about as high as 66,000 earlier this year. So that's a massive increase. Now, the question which we really want to be asking ourselves is it still worth investing into right now? My personal opinion, possibly. But we have a look at some things to find out if that is the case. So we're currently sitting at about 50,000. And as I say, it had a high of 66,000. Now, a bunch of people, because we're currently in a bull run, in a bull market, so a bunch of people are thinking that we should probably be seeing about 100k by the end of this bull run, before the market bubble goes and explodes. In other words, when I say explodes, I mean we go into a bear market and you lose a bunch of gains. So let's have a look at some of the indicators which we can review. So this is the Bollinger Band indicator. So the larger / wider, the more volatile the market is. If it's close together, that means that that it isn't going to be so, pardon me, devastating. So, so generally when it comes to the Bollinger Bands, if the price is below the lowest band, that means that it's a good time to buy. If it's above, then it's a good time to sell. But with Bitcoin, I would say that we're currently quite steady. We're currently quite steady in terms of the actual price action. And volatility is quite small, as we can see, or has gone a lot smaller since that wild dip around here. So this is the volume. It looks like there's an average amount of buying and selling. There's not a huge amount of buy and there's not a huge amount of sell. So that's when it comes to the volume. Let's have a look at the other ones. So we have the MACD. Now, when it comes to the MACDs, the lines, if they are far apart, that means that it is lower volatility. Close together means higher volatility. So as you can see, there's sort of been a uncertainty with that. And so let's see. So blue, if the blue is above and it keeps staying above, that means that we are likely going to see that green increase, which means that the price of Bitcoin is going to raise. Now, if the blue line crosses that orange line, then it will go and flip down, which means that the price is going to decrease. So I would say, in terms of buying and selling opportunities, I feel like now is probably an okay time to buy. You're probably not going to be looking at 2xing your money until we hit about 100,000. So in my personal opinion, there are better projects to be able to invest in right now, but if you want a very safe investment, so I think it was Kathy Woods recently from ARK Investments said that we'll probably be looking at, and I think this was Kathy Woods or it was another company who said that we'll be probably looking at about a $1 million Bitcoin by the year 2030. So you can definitely 10x your money, but it might take some years. But I mean, that could be with almost any project. And the one cool thing about Bitcoin is that we are unlikely, to see it, go in a to just die randomly, because we've seen a lot of institutional investment with this. So yeah, let's have a look at the RSI. Now RSI, if it is anything below the 30-day, so as you can see, so this was below the 30-day, and it got about as low as about 16, I would say. About 16.53, which is a huge low. That is a massive low when it comes to this sort of jazz. Yeah, so that is wildly low. Yeah, so I would say, so that would have been a wonderful time to have bought. Now, when it goes over the 70, then that is when you want to sell, because if it goes over 70, then it could go and just wipe its hand on our face. Yeah, so so anywhere between 30 and 70 means that the price is alright, like the price is okay. So we're not going to look at the EMAs, because I'm only using the free version of TradingView, so we can't look at EMAs because it would be like, you have to purchase this. So we can't really see anything on Token Sniffer or BSC Check. So what we'll be looking at some of the subreddit stats. So subreddit of Bitcoin, 3 million subscribers, fabulous, one of the biggest we've seen so far. So in the last, let's see, so since, we'll see if we can find from the middle of the year. So it's been growing almost about 300,000 members since the middle of the year. So that's pretty good. So it seems like there is definitely more interest when it comes to the Bitcoin community. So keep in mind, with pretty much almost anything when it comes to the Bitcoin community, or sorry, the cryptocurrency community, Bitcoin is plays a massive role in pretty much everything. So if Bitcoin drops, the whole entire market moves with it. If Bitcoin rises, the market moves with it. It just does that, because Bitcoin is essentially, I mean, having a this is $950 billion market cap, but it has but it does have it generally has a $1 trillion market cap. Also a very cool thing about this, so what's cool is that we can see the holders of this, and there's no huge there's no like huge whales. Sorry, there is no huge whales which can essentially go and drop the market super heavily. I mean, if this goes to sell all of his Bitcoin, then maybe. So this is, I actually did the calculation before, and this is about, I think it's $13 billion worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, so there is a lot. We don't look at those things because it's annoying. Comments per day. So it looks like we had a bit of a raise around May. So that would have been where we had that giant sort of pump. So if we go back to the overview, so that would have been about here, where we actually saw about a $60,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, so just on May, which makes a lot of sense. And then post per day. So yeah, so there's not too much talk. I mean, still having like almost about 200 posts per day is still a huge amount of posts. Like, do not get me wrong, like that is a massive amount of posts. But compared to its sort of all-time high, I mean, what is that, like it was like 1,000 something, or I can barely click on it. Yeah, I don't think we can zoom in. Yes we can. Okay. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's move on. So Twitter, what have we got for the Twitter ideas of this? In the last 30 days, 200,000 subscribers, or followers, sorry. That's massive. There is almost 4 million followers of Bitcoin. As I say, I don't think that Bitcoin's going to be going anywhere. Chances of it dropping out of first place when it comes to, because if we have a look here, so it's the number 1 ranking when it comes to the market cap of any coin. So its chances of dropping/dipping out of first place is very unlikely. It is, yeah, I mean, the second biggest is, if we have a look, I believe it's Ethereum. So what's the market cap of that? I mean, you're looking at 950 versus almost 500 billion. So I mean, some people say that Ethereum does have the chance to be able to overtake it. I'm personally thinking no, because we've had so many institutional investors investing in this, and so much retail money going into this. So I don't really think it's going to be dropping out that heavily or that hard, to be honest. Or if it does, it might take maybe a few years to be able to do that. Do not think it's going to be something which is going to happen right away. So, so the Reddit stats. So the Reddit stats are real good. So interactions, I mean, yeah, it is one of the biggest ones. So that is absolutely fine. So let's have a look at the Google Trends. What do the Google Trends say? So we have a look at the searches for it. So it hasn't had a heck of a lot of searches, although, once again, during the whole Bitcoin thing, that would have been when a lot of people would have been considering jumping into it and buying into around the 60,000. Now a little word to the wise: never buy a coin when it is at its all-time high. That is not a very good decision. Yeah. However, with Bitcoin, I mean, yeah, probably if you can maybe like read the market, so maybe have a look at some guys like Benjamin Cohen. I personally like CoinsKid. So when you have a look at some of these guys, they'll probably give you a little bit more accuracy when it comes to the possibilities of where they could go. Yeah, so the news is all right. And this is their website. Probably should have started on this actually. Yeah, so the cool thing about Bitcoin is that nobody has a I guess a foothold, and I'll see if we can actually search with this. So nobody actually really has like a foothold with nobody actually has a foothold with within Bitcoin, which is good. Nobody really has that because it's spread pretty well evenly. Even if you have like, I mean, as we had a look at the various holders. By the way, so you can pretty much buy Bitcoin on almost any exchange. I have links in my description for if you want to use my little codes things. That'll be cool if you're thinking of signing up to any of the exchanges. If you did want to purchase any projects. Yeah, so I mean, even if we have a look at like the top 20th wallet, I mean, you're looking at 0.17. I mean, like, sure, that's a lot of Bitcoin if they were to sell it, and that could drop the price quite substantially. But is it going to be that bad? Will it affect the market that badly? Possibly, but yeah, I don't imagine it would affect it too heavily. We'll probably maybe see it drop down to something like 40-something thousand, if anything. Yeah, from one of the top 20 wallets. So yeah, anyway, that is Bitcoin. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn notifications on to get notified of these. I also have a Patreon, so please also consider signing up to that as well, because every little bit counts. And I'd love to continue doing this full time for you guys. So yeah, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.